Are you struggling to get your family finances in order and get your budget just right? Well, in today's video, we are going to use the very popular ChatGPT AI to help us with our budget and help us understand where our money is going. In this video, you will learn what ChatGPT is, how it works, and why it can be a great tool to help you create a budget, help you understand expenses, and help you save money. So let's get started. If you're not familiar, ChatGPT is an artificial AI chat bot, and it has been trained with massive amounts of text, and it understands various forms of language. And what you can do is you can ask it questions, it can provide you information, it can generate responses based on the input you give it. It can also provide you some advice. Now, it is a language model, it's text based. So, when I was doing this exercise for the budget, the math sometimes is a little wonky. So, you have to just review the budget numbers that it spits out if you're looking for this to be a guide for you and your finances. Can provide you some general financial advice that it has gathered from articles, essays, and text. I do want to warn you that ChatGPT is not an end all solution to all of your financial questions because it does lack humanity. It doesn't know common sense. It has some bias and inaccuracies. I am also in this video using the free version, which still requires an update on its reasoning, so you will have those issues as well. It also may not understand a lot of complex concepts, so you just want to be aware of that. Now, ChatGPT works well if you ask it the right questions. It's based on input, so the more input you give it, the more clear your input is, the better some of your results. The one thing I do like about ChatGPT is that it actually takes the emotion out of certain things, and it can be good, especially when we're dealing with money. Many of us deal with money coming from a very emotional place, coming from our background, our money mindset, our history with money, and our relationship with it. So, in this case, if you're going to ask a certain financial advice, it's going to be very, very strict and very, very by the book, which can be good for certain people. But again, it's not going to be an end all solution to your financial questions. And you just want to take some of its advice with a grain of salt. But in this video, we are going to do a simple budget and maybe ask a bunch of questions to help us with some of our expenses. First question we're going to ask is, can you walk me through how to budget? And it does provide you some steps on how to create a budget. And it also has a disclaimer that budgeting takes time, it takes practice, and I think it's spot on when it comes to some of the steps for you to start creating a budget. Remember that the better your prompts are or questions are for ChatGPT, the better the answers that you will get. So in this case, what we're going to ask it now is, can you provide me the different ways to budget? Yes, there are many different ways to budget depending on your accountability needs. So you might not have been successful at budgeting because you were doing the incorrect budget method for your specific personal needs. So take a look at this list, which includes traditional budgeting, envelope budgeting, zero-based budgeting, as well as a 5-30-20 budgeting method. See if any of these work for you. Try one of them, and then if that doesn't work, try the next one and see what works best. Let's now give ChatGPT some numbers. So we're going to input and we're going to ask for it to create a budget for a family of 4 living in New Jersey with a specific household income as well as the specific budget method we want. And here it spits out some of the categories and spending allocation for the 5-30-20 budget method. Now you want to see if compare it to yours and see if this is something that might be helpful as you create your own budget. Now that we have this basic budget, let's tailor it to our needs. So in this case, I'm asking it to not include car payments because this family doesn't have one, but instead I want it to prioritize travel, which means we should be saving more for travel. And it does do that by allocating an extra $500 towards travel and removing that car payment line item. And you'll have the adjusted budget seen here. And the next thing I'm going to have it do is put everything in a table format so I can just copy some of the categories and amounts onto an Excel sheet, change it for my own needs, and see what other categories I want to add or how I want to adjust the amounts. And again, as a baseline for a budget, it can be fairly useful if you know the type of questions you ask it and some of the input that you're going to provide. And here's a quick snap of how you can use that table and translate it into a spreadsheet for your own budgeting needs. Of course, you change your categories, change dollar amounts, but this can be a great start if you're new to budgeting or just want to look at yours and revise it to be a little bit more mindful of all of your expenses. Let's now have it do an exercise where we want it to convert some of the budgeting line items from the 5-30-20 method to the traditional method. The traditional method basically looks at historical data. So you'd want to look at your past year's data and expenses to see what you would allocate towards certain categories. This can be helpful so that you can figure out all the categories you want to assign your dollars for, and it can also provide you just a sense of where is your money really going to for year over year. And also in this case, let's put it in the table format so it's easier for us to look at. And then here is the result of that request. And the last thing I'm going to have it do is help me reduce some of my expenses. More specifically, in this question, I'm going to ask it, how can I help reduce my family's food budget and save money on groceries and food? And it does provide you a lot of resources and strategies to help you reduce your family's food budget. As we can see, many of these strategies will not be new to us, but it might be helpful to get this reminder so that we can start implementing some of these things to help reduce our food budget. And the last thing I'm going to have it do is to drill down on one of the strategies it shares when it comes to saving money on food, and that is to meal prep. So I'm asking it a question: can you help me create a meal plan for a family of four that's rich in protein? And it provides me these suggestions on a day by day basis. Of course, again, modifying your inputs, adding more to it will give you better results. But I think this could be a very helpful tool, especially if this is something you want to do to help you save money. The more information you provide it, the better, as it can use that input to craft a response that's a little bit more tailored. So, see if you can provide some of your actual expenses, your actual numbers of your take home pay, of some of the expenses that you have, like rent and mortgage, and have it calculate using those numbers. I hope this video has been helpful. I believe that ChatGPT could be a very useful tool to have when it comes to personal finance. It can really help you understand complex financial concepts and help you get into the beginning stages of understanding what you need to do with your personal finances. Now, it still has a long way to go, so I do encourage you to just verify some of the advice it gives you with a book, with a professional advice, with something else. Just like anywhere else on the internet and in social media, you just want to verify some of the information it spits out. Work on asking it better questions so that you get better responses, responses that are better and actionable for you. Before you go, I'd recommend checking out these two videos to also help you manage your money better so that you can live a life of impact today and tomorrow. I will see you next week for the next video. Bye.